5323 in Carson County on Interstate 40. Looking back to the west, back towards Amarillo. You can see the back of our sharp sign there, about 500 feet down the road. Traffic monitoring installation. There's the sharp sign there. The delineators here. The sign is now at the right-of-way line. We've got it about 10 feet off the shoulder, but it's there. Touched up some of the markings just a little bit. A little bit more legible. This section has lots and lots and lots of cracking, as you would expect with a CRC. The part that makes it particularly fun is that with the Canadian river gravel that's used in here. Some of it there. The cracks are anything but straight across. Have lots of little cracks connecting the cracks. I tried to only include or note, quote, punch outs where I could tell that the crack was definitely running longitudinal, like this one here. I call that a punch out. But one could argue there's even more punch outs here than what I've documented. Here's one right there. There's another one here. Section is not that old. As you can see, it's got a jointed, a concrete shoulder. There's station 1 there. That is, the concrete shoulder has been tied to the lane itself. Joints have been kept well sealed and remain tightly closed, but nonetheless, we still have quite a few of these punch outs occurring. Obviously, just from looking at them, you can tell they're not really very severe punch outs, but by our definitions, they are punch outs nonetheless. Now, some of that can be attributed to the fact that these cracks are occurring so close together, typically on the order of, well, there are many that are as close as, say, a tenth of a meter, 10 centimeters apart. But most of them are about a quarter to a third of a meter. Every once in a while we get a stretch where you can see there's about a meter between them, but that's pretty rare. You can see where you get these ones that are about 10 centimeters apart, the transverse cracks are forming. Well, hence, I counted quite a few punch outs going through here. All these cracks are still very tightly closed. A little bit of spalling on them, but definitely not anything to bring them up to moderate severity. Moderate severity would require at least 1/10 of the joint, or 10% of the joint having spalling. None of these have that magnitude of spalling. Station 3. Another one of transverse cracks here. Studies that had been done by Texas DOT in the past noted that whenever the river gravel type aggregates are used, you get a lot more of this I don't even know what word you want to use for it. It's definitely not straight across, but meandering, if you will, cracking, because it hits one of those river gravel and starts to wander off to one side or the other. Station 4. Another one of the punch outs right here. Now, all of these, as I mentioned before, obviously in their fairly early stages of development, there's no spalling or any really deterioration to speak of associated with these punch outs, but I do have two transverse cracks connected by a longitudinal crack, and that's all it takes. That then brings us to the end of this section here on Interstate 40. You can see our delineators at the end of the test section. Looking to the east, I believe, let's see, I was trying to figure out where we are here. Without my glasses on, I can't read that sign. I'm sure you can read it better than I can. But I believe this is exit 112. I think we're at mile marker 111, if I'm not mistaken. Looking back to the west, towards Amarillo. And with that, I'll conclude the video here for section 485323 on Interstate 40 in the eastbound lanes.